And this was during the generation of Prophet Noah. So you want to remember that it wasn't until the generation of Prophet Noah that the people began to associate partners with Allah, and they did it by listening to Shaitan, who convinced them to build a statue of righteous men who had died, and so they can remember them. So thus Allah sent many, many messengers after that. Noah was the first messenger sent to the people. And let me explain to you guys the difference. The difference between a prophet and a messenger. Okay? All the messengers were prophets, but not all prophets were messengers. Prophets were sent to people who already believed in Allah, but they had a problem obeying Allah's commands. Messengers were sent to people who did not believe in Allah, or people who associated partners with Him. And this is why the messengers are of a higher status than the prophets are, because their job was harder. They not only had to convey the laws of Allah to the people, but they had to first of all convince the people that Allah existed. Prophets were sent to people who already believed that Allah existed. They already knew that God existed, but they chose to be deviant in their belief. They chose to reject His commands. That's a prophet. But the messenger was sent to people who did not believe at all. Okay? And Noah was the first messenger. He was the first messenger sent to mankind, and his generation were the first generation of humans to associate shirk, or to worship other than Allah. And so Allah sent many other messengers and after that, until finally Allah sent the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet and the last messenger. And when he came, okay, Allah sent down to the Prophet Muhammad the Quran. And the Quran is the completion of all the other books. Because all the other books that Allah sent, they were not complete. The Quran was the completion of all the other books, and the Quran was the completion of all the other laws. And when Allah sent down the Quran, Allah sent down the prohibitions against worshiping anything other than Him. Magic, fortune telling, and divination. These are not only forms of shirk, which is associating partners with Allah, but these are also actions that will take you out of Islam and make you an unbeliever or make you a kafir if you do them. Understand that magic, which is known as Shirk, magic is an act of kufr or disbelief. Kufr is an Arabic word, again, that means disbelief. So magic is an act of disbelief, and it is one of the 7 sins which will doom a person to hell. Magic is something that causes harm and no benefit. And Allah says about the person who indulges in magic, Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning, and they learn that which harms them and profits them not. He's talking about magic. Magic is something that brings nothing but harm. It brings about no benefit. And also Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning, and the magician will never be successful. The magician will never be successful no matter what amount of skill he may think he has. Okay? So magic is something that is forbidden, guys. It brings about nothing but harm. No benefit at all. Okay? And for those people who practice magic, the person who practices magic is nothing but an unbeliever. And Allah speaks about the magicians in the Quran, and He speaks about them with the story of Suleiman, or Prophet Solomon. Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning, Suleiman did not disbelieve, but the shayateen disbelieved, teaching men magic and things that came down at Babylon to the two angels, Harut and Marut. But neither of these angels taught anyone anything till they had said, we are only for trial. Let me explain this verse. This is one of the most misinterpreted verses of the Quran. So many people accuse the angels Harut and Marut. They lie on these two angels. They accuse them of teaching the people magic when they did not. What Allah is saying in this verse is that the angels did not teach the people magic. It was the jinn that taught the people magic. Harut and Marut, they were two angels that Allah sent to the people to teach them how to preserve their marriage. Harut and Marut, they went to the people to teach them how to love, how men should love their wives and treat their wives. The jinn, they took the things that the angels came to teach, and they made magic potions. The jinns began to make love potions. And they went to the people telling them, drink this, and this will make your husband love you. And the jinns lied and claimed that they learned these love potions from Harut and Marut when they did not. They did not learn these things from Harut and Marut, but they lied and said they did. So that's what Allah is saying here. His angels, Harut and Marut, they were not guilty of magic. It was the jinn, the shayateen, who took what the angels Harut and Marut came with and made magic potions out of them. So the person who deals in magic is an unbeliever. And the punishment for a person who practices magic in Islam is death. That's how terrible a crime this is. To be a magician, if you were living in an Islamic state, the punishment for this is death. And your money is not lawful. So this means that you cannot go to a magician or a fortune teller asking them for spells or magic. It also means that you cannot go to them asking them to cure you of magic either. And so many people indulge in this. And when we talk about magicians, guys, this also includes the tarot readers, the astrologers, the palm readers. All of these people are unbelievers. They are unbelievers because they all claim to have knowledge of the unseen. And anyone who professes knowledge of the unseen is an unbeliever, because Allah tells us clearly that only He has this knowledge. Okay? So you should not go to a tarot reader, an astrologer, a palm reader, a fortune teller. That means psychics too. You see all these commercials here in America telling you to dial the psychic line. Call this number and the psychic reader will read your future to you. This is shirk. This is associating partners with Allah. And the ruling concerning the person who does this is as follows. If a person goes to a fortune teller, or a psychic online person, or a tarot reader, or an astrologer, if you go to those people asking them to tell you your future, and you believe what they tell you, then you are an unbeliever too. That means you have become a kafir too. And the